Before to starting this video, I want to thank Max High. He inspired me to make this scene like this. If you want, I highly recommend you to watch his channel. Now let's do it. Add the plane, scale it up, camera GY, and then make it here. Now add a cube, GZ up, S shift Z and scale it. Make it small like this. GY, it's by default 2 meter taller. We make it just to compare it to other things that we will make to see how bigger as. I add a cube, SY like this, S shift Y and make it bigger like this. Now add a cylinder, RX90 like this, S to make it bigger, SY to make it like this, GY here, go to edit mode, select face, select this one, X, delete, so I uncheck this and then go back here, X, delete. Now hit A to select all this and extrude it along the normal like this. Go back to object mode, GZ up. Now GZ SX. Okay, now we have this. I duplicate S, make it just a little bigger, hold shift and select these two circles and make them here. Now I select the camera, I change the focal like this. Now if I hit 0 here, now we can adjust the view that we want. I scale this more. Now we have the angle that we want. Now if I go here, I hit Z, I go to the render view. So here I go in the world and I disable the sky texture. Now I go here in light, I add a spotlight, GZ up, GY here, and I change it, GX here, RY, and I make it like this. Now I go here and I give it just like this, GZ up, GX, I go here and I select this step pyramid. I give it 15 like this, S, and I scale it up like this. Now SZ, I want it like this, GX, and I make it here. Now I go here in modifier, add modifier, generate mirror, and then select this cylinder. Now we have two pieces of this. If you haven't, just go here in edit, in preferences, in add-ons, and enable extra mesh object. Now I add a modifier. I change it here to y-axis, and I make it in 4 like this, GY, and make it here. So I go here into C, GY, okay, I scale it a little, GX, GY, we make it like this, okay, this I change it just, I make it in 3, GY, okay, it's good like this. Now hit 0, now this I give it a little bevel, decrease this just like this, just a little. Okay, now add another plane, RX 90 to make it in the vertical, GZ here, up S, and I want it like this. GY, and I make it here just to see it, and go here in edit mode, right click, subdivide, they make give it 10, hit I to select all, go here in select, and select checker, deselect. Now X and delete these faces, hit A and extrude it in Y axis, just a little like this. Now go back to object mode. Now S, GZ, and now we want GY, and we make it just like this. Okay, now it's good for this. Now we want to add our logo. So I go here in text, RX90 to make it in the vertical, S to scale it up like this. And now you can add any text you want. So I make it in the center, GZ, and I make it here, GY, they make it here to see it. Now hit tab, delete this text, and hit any text you want. And I hit tab to close. In geometry, I extrude it a little, just like this. I go here in font and I select this font that I download from DaFont, this one. Now GZ up, S, now we can scale it up like this, GZ, GY, I select this, GY, and I make it just little like this. Control A, apply the scale, and now I can add a bevel, just a little like this. Now for this too, Control A, apply the scale, Control A, apply the scale, apply the scale, Control A, apply the scale, Control A, apply the scale. So now I select this circle, add a bevel. I select this one too. Now we have our scene as you see here in the render view. So I want to add a texture for this. Make sure that you are enabling Node Wrangler, Ctrl-Shift-T, and they go in the texture that I download from AmbientCG. I use this one. So hold Shift, select the first, select the last. Now the wall, I give it the same. This circle too. A logo too. Except for this and the floor, I will give it another texture. Now, as you can see, the texture is not good here for this pyramids. So I select first the wall, hit tab to go to edit mode, and they go here in UV, and they select smart UV projection. Go back to object mode and select this. Go to edit mode, UV, smart UV projection. As you can see here, it's not good. So I go back to object mode and I add a subdivision surface. I give it, make it adaptive like this. And now I select this one too, add modifier, subdivision surface. Okay, now I go back to edit mode and they go here in UV and they select smart UV projection. Now as you can see, now the texture is good here for this one. I go back to object mode and they select this one, UV, smart UV projection. Now we have a nice texture for these circles. Now I select the pyramids, hit tab. Now I select all this and they go here in UV and they select smart UV projection. Now we have a nice texture for this too. But for the text, it's not good. So right click, convert to mesh. Now if I go here in edit mode, hit A, they go here in UV and they select smart UV projection. Now our text to have a nice texture. Now we have this look like this. Okay, now I select the floor, subdivision, I make it adaptive and I make it simple. Hit new, Ctrl-Shift-T and I select this one. So hold Shift, select the first and the last, hit tab and I go to UV and I select smart UV projection 2. Now we have this floor like this. But to give it a nice look, I go here and I add a cube, SZ, to make it small like this, S Shift Z, and I make it like this. Hit new, I add a vector, a bump, and I add a texture called keyboard texture. I connect value to the height and normal to the normal. Decrease the roughness and the transmission, make it in 1. And they decrease just like this. Now hit 0. And now I add a cube, S, and we want to cover all this stuff here. SY, just like this. Hit new, X delete this, and they go here in shader. I select volume scatter, connect volume to the volume. You can't see here anything because the density is high. I give it 0.02 and now I increase the anisotropy. Now here we can't see anything, so go here in object properties and here in viewport display change this to wire. Now we want to add some edge wear here. So I go back here. And now I select this, I make it this. We don't want it, so I delete it. Now here I add an ambient occlusion, and I add a color, a mix color, and I make it, I zoom a little to see, and I make it to multiply, and they add this here, and they disconnect this and they make it here, and they connect this one here. I add a color ramp and I make it here, and now I move this here, I change it like this, and this black one I make it white, and this one here in value I give it 10. Now as you can see, we can play with this. Okay, now this one I give it the same as this floor, so I give it this material one, and I go back here in edit mode in UV, and I select smart UV projection. Now we are almost finished, just we want to add a silhouette as a human, so I add a plane RX90 to make it in the vertical, GY, and I make it here. Now S Shift Z, and I decrease the, I make it smaller like this, GZ up, GX, and I make it here. This cube we can delete it. Now for this one, hit new, Control T, and I open an image, a human shadow like this. I connect it to alpha like this, and I add a color, color ramp. Here invert, flip the color just like this, and I make it like this. Now we have this shadow here, so I move it, not you, this one, GY. Now I zoom here to see how look as this logo here. Maybe here I select this to go here. Maybe I select all this and I move it down. So I hold shift, I click here, hold shift and select this and this, all, and the logo GY, and I make it here just like this. Okay, now we have this logo like this. Now I go here in a render to render one image to see how it look as. There is something missing here. Maybe if I make it metallic, if I make all this, it will be better. I make this in slot 1 and I select slot 2. Maybe this, I scale it more. Yes, I think it's better like this. GY, and I make it here. And now I select the logo. Okay, I go here in edit mode and I select this option, correct faces attribute. Now if I scale up here, scale it just like this. Now I go here in UV, I must unwrap it like this. Maybe as I say, if we make all this metallic, so here make it metallic just a little like this. Now if I go here and render this second image, so I think it's better like this. You can play as you want with the logo, the circles, make it as you want. But if you like it, please don't forget like and subscribe to my channel. If you want to support me and make this channel growing, please don't forget like and subscribe. So this is the final result. So if you want to watch more tutorial like this, please watch the video in the end.